In the middle of Barcelona, there is a church that has outlived kings, war, fire, economic crashes, and even the architect who gave it its soul. Antoni Gaudí knew he would never see it finished, and he was right. Its towers rise like carved stone mountains, and its geometry looked centuries ahead of its time. Over the last century, the basilica underwent redesigns, delays, lost models, and a modern reinvention. Yet builders never walked away from it. Today, the project stands in its final stretch. So the question is no longer why it took so long, but how it survived at all. When the first stone was laid on March 19, 1882, this was meant to be a serious Catholic project, but still a familiar one. The original architect, Francisco de Paula del Villar, planned a more traditional neo-Gothic church. That version did not last long. In 1883, Antoni Gaudí took over, and the project became something else. God kept the religious purpose, but he changed the form, the structure, and the ambition. He was trying to build what many now call a church of the future. From that point on, the Sagrada Familia became larger than the man building it. God worked on many projects at first, but by 1914, he had given himself fully to this one. He spent the last stretch of his life shaping it, testing ideas, refining models, and turning the site into a laboratory. By the time he died in 1926, only a small part of the basilica was truly complete. The crypt was functioning, work on the Nativity Fade had advanced, and the bell tower of St. Barnabas was the only tower he lived to see finished. It ended up like this because the Sagrada Familia was never built from finished blueprints. God worked through models, tested the form by hand, and used trial and error. That is one reason the project could continue after he was gone. God did not want a church built in the usual Gothic style, so he turned to geometry, gravity, and nature. At the Sagrada Familia, structure and symbolism are locked together. The columns do not feel planted like rows in a normal cathedral. They lean and divide. The vaults open and twist through ruled geometry, hyperboloids, and branching forms that pull light deep into the interior. Inside, God designed what the basilica itself describes as a forest of columns. Many of them are inclined. They branch at different heights to carry the loads of the vaults, windows, and roofs. He developed what the official booklet calls the double twist column. It begins with a polygonal or star-shaped base, twists in opposite directions, and gradually becomes circular as it rises. It was structural logic that spread loads efficiently and gave the interior that strange feeling that the building is growing, rather than simply standing. And then there are the towers. God designed 18 in total, 12 for the apostles, 4 for the evangelists, 1 for the Virgin Mary, and the tallest of all for Jesus Christ. Their arrangement is symbolic, but their height also carries an idea God cared about deeply. The final tower of Jesus Christ rises to 172.5 meters, kept deliberately lower than Montjuic Hill, because God believed human work should not surpass God's creation. God died in 1926 after being struck by a tram. His disciple Domnec Sugranyes took over. 10 years later came the Spanish Civil War. In 1936, the basilica was vandalized, the workshop was attacked, and plans were burned. For a building that depended so heavily on physical models, this was bad. This is the moment that gives the Sagrada Familia its impossible quality. Because after 1936, the builders were reconstructing God's intentions and plans instead of focusing on construction. In 1939, work resumed under Francesc de Paula Quintana, using what could be saved from the workshop, along with published plans, old photographs, and fragments of broken models. That recovery effort shaped everything that came later. The decades after the war were about survival first, speed second. The Nativity Fade moved ahead, while the Passion Fade foundation was laid in 1954. The first major fundraising drive followed in 1955. Construction methods were still old-fashioned for much of the 20th century. The official history even notes that work was once done with wood scaffolding, which feels almost unreal when you look at the scale of what stands there now. Then, the pace started to change. In 1986, work began on the foundations for all the naves, columns, vaults, and fades of the main nave, transepts, crossing, and apse. Those works were completed in 2010. That was a major turning point, because it meant the project was finally becoming a usable interior space rather than only an exterior promise. On November 7, 2010, Pope Benedict XVI consecrated the basilica for worship and named it a minor basilica. The church was still unfinished, but it was now alive in the way God always intended. By then, one more major thing had changed. The builders had begun to combine God's old model-based method with modern digital tools. God left behind a design language full of ruled geometry. Those forms are beautiful, but they are also difficult to build by hand at full scale. Modern technology gave the project a way forward through digital modeling, which helped the team test geometry more precisely. Recent construction has used pre-assembled stone panels, allowing large sections to be prepared before being lifted into place. That is why the last stage looked faster from the outside. The church is still built in stone, but much of that stone now arrives as part of an engineered system. In 2016, construction began on the towers of the Evangelists, the Virgin Mary, and Jesus Christ. In 2019, the first stone panels for those towers began arriving. In February 2020, the towers of Jesus Christ and the Virgin Mary had already risen higher than the older towers on the Nativity and Passion fades. Then came another interruption. In March 2020, construction stopped because of the COVID-19 health emergency. For a building that had already survived a lot in the past, this was one more delay in a history built on delays. But work resumed in October 2020, with focus placed on finishing the Tower of the Virgin Mary. In 2021, the team concentrated on its shaft and pinnacle. The shaft alone included an 18-meter middle section that began from 6 legs and narrowed into 3 arms holding the luminous star. One raised piece measured 10.8 meters, described by the basilica as the longest piece ever lifted there at that time. The shaft was then covered in Trencad's mosaic. On November 29, 2021, the star was lifted into place. And on December 8, 2021, the completed 138-meter Tower of the Virgin Mary was inaugurated and lit for the first time. After that, the climb accelerated again. In 2022, the towers of Luke and Mark were completed. The Tower of Jesus Christ rose to its 8th of 12 levels, reaching 125.85 meters. By 2023, the towers of Matthew and John were also completed, and the 4 evangelist towers were inaugurated together. Each stands 135 meters tall. By that point, together with the Virgin Mary Tower, 5 of the 6 central towers were complete. The only missing giant was the one God had always intended to dominate them all: the Tower of Jesus Christ. According to the Basilica, work in 2025 focused on the 12th level of the Jesus Tower, the Cross Pinnacle, the Chapel of the Assumption, and the Glory Fade Bell Towers. By then, the board had also commissioned artists to develop proposals for the future design of the Glory Fade, which shows that even while the tallest structure was being finished, other parts of the church were still being designed in detail. On October 27, 2025, the first piece of the cross was installed on the Jesus Tower, taking the basilica to 162.91 meters. That made it taller than all Minster in Germany, and therefore the tallest church in the world. The cross itself is not a small finishing touch. The basilica says the top element is 29 meters tall, while the 4-armed cross is 17 meters tall and 13.5 meters wide. It was built in Germany in 2025, then brought to Barcelona in modules, pre-assembled on a platform 54 meters above the central nave, and lifted in 7 pieces. The upper arm went into place on February 20, 2026, completing the exterior of the central tower. At that point, the basilica reached its planned height of 172.5 meters. After 144 years, the tallest part of God's vision was finally standing over Barcelona. But finished still does not fully mean finished. The official 2026 program says the Tower of Jesus Christ will be completed and blessed in June 2026. The basilica reported 134.5 million in income for 2025, all from private sources, with over half of the spending going to construction. Strangely, the crowd has become part of the construction system. Every tourist entering the nave helps lift the next piece of stone.